They said Marcus. Hale didn't look like a man capable of murder. Soft-spoken, slight frame, always early to work. Always the one who apologized even when he was the one being wronged. In a town where power wore tailored suits and cruelty hid behind polite smiles, Marcus was invisible, and that was exactly how they wanted him. The first time Marcus reported the threats, no one listened. The second time, they laughed. By the third time, it was already too late. This story doesn't begin with blood. It begins with silence, the kind that follows you home, sits beside you at night, and whispers that no one is coming to save you. Marcus worked nights as a maintenance supervisor at Briarstone Residential Facility, a privately run care home owned by Calvin Rourke. Rourke was a local legend, wealthy, connected, untouchable. His name was etched into libraries, charity plaques, and political donor lists. People called him a pillar of the community. Behind closed doors, he was something else entirely. Marcus noticed it first in the logs. Missing medications, altered timestamps, security cameras mysteriously malfunctioning during critical hours. When residents complained of mistreatment, Rourke dismissed them as confused and unreliable. When Marcus pushed back, he was reminded quietly that jobs were replaceable. Still, Marcus documented everything. That's when the pressure started. His hours were cut. His evaluations turned hostile. Anonymous notes appeared in his locker, reminding him that accidents happened. Rourke never raised his voice. He didn't have to. Power spoke for him. One night, Marcus came home to find his apartment door unlocked. Nothing stolen, nothing broken. Just a message taped to the fridge. You don't know who you're protecting. Marcus went to the police the next morning. The officer barely looked up from his desk. Mr. Rourke is a respected businessman, he said. Are you sure you're not misinterpreting things? That sentence would echo in Marcus's mind for months. Then came the fire. It broke out in the East Wing just after midnight. 2 residents, both elderly, both listed as high risk, never made it out. The official report called it an electrical failure. Rourke called it a tragedy. Marcus called it murder. He knew the wiring. He'd inspected it himself. He also knew those 2 residents had filed complaints earlier that week. Complaints Marcus had personally submitted to management. Within days, Marcus was terminated for negligence. The town moved on. But Marcus didn't. He couldn't sleep. When he did, he dreamed of alarms that never rang and doors that wouldn't open. He replayed every moment, every decision, wondering where he could have done more. Meanwhile, Rourke appeared on local news, expressing sorrow with perfectly timed pauses. And at night, he slept peacefully. That was the part that broke Marcus. Weeks later, Marcus received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a flash drive. No note, no explanation. The footage was grainy but clear enough. It showed Rourke in the facility after hours, disabling alarms, locking doors, checking his watch, calm, methodical, practiced. The timestamp placed him there just minutes before the fire. Marcus's hands shook as he watched. For the first time since the fire, he felt something other than fear. He felt power shifting. Marcus didn't go back to the police. He went to a journalist, one who had been quietly investigating Briarstone for years and kept hitting dead ends. Together, they traced shell companies, bribed inspectors, and falsified death certificates. The fire wasn't an isolated incident. It was a pattern. Still, Rourke remained free. Then Rourke invited Marcus to dinner. The invitation came through a lawyer, polite, formal, almost friendly. Marcus knew what it meant. When he arrived, Rourke greeted him like an old friend. The house was immaculate. Warm lighting, classical music, the kind of place where terrible things could happen without leaving a trace. I hear you've been asking questions, Rourke said casually, pouring wine. Marcus said nothing. Rourke smiled. People like us don't end well when they forget their place. The threat was clear. But Rourke made one mistake. He assumed Marcus was still afraid. What Rourke didn't know was that the journalist had already sent copies of the footage to 3 independent outlets. What he didn't know was that Marcus had recorded the entire conversation. When Rourke leaned in and said, "They burned quietly," Marcus felt the last of his doubt disappear. The story broke the next morning. By noon, Rourke was arrested. By nightfall, his empire collapsed. Sponsors vanished. Allies denied knowing him. The town that once protected him suddenly claimed it had been fooled. Marcus watched the news alone. For the first time in a year, he slept. Not because the pain was gone, but because the truth was finally louder than the lies. Rourke was convicted on multiple counts of murder. The judge called his actions calculated and remorseless, survivors testified. Families cried. Justice at long last spoke clearly. But here's the part no one tells you. Justice doesn't end the story. 3 weeks after the verdict, Marcus received another envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper, prison stationery. Rourke's handwriting was calm, steady. "You think this is over," it read. "You exposed what I did, but you still don't know why I did it. There are others, and they're watching you now." Marcus stared at the letter as the room grew quiet. Outside, a car idled too long at the curb, and somewhere far from the courtroom, someone else slept peacefully. Marcus didn't move as the car idled outside. He watched its headlights wash across his living room wall, slow and deliberate, like the car wasn't lost but waiting. The letter lay open on the table. Rourke's handwriting felt heavier now, less like a threat and more like a promise. Marcus understood something in that moment that chilled him deeper than fear. Prison had not silenced Calvin Rourke. It had only removed him from the spotlight. The car drove away without a sound, no horn, no engine rev, just absence. Marcus slept lightly that night, fully clothed, recorder charging beside him, phone in his hand. When morning came, he didn't feel relief. He felt watched. The journalist, Lena Ortiz, confirmed what Marcus already suspected. Since Rourke's arrest, 2 former inspectors connected to Briarstone had died. One ruled a heart attack, the other a fall. Both men had been healthy. Both had testified quietly during the investigation. The stories never made the evening news. Rourke's letter wasn't a bluff. Marcus went back to the evidence, combing through what had been overlooked in the rush to convict Rourke. Patterns emerged. Donations that led to zoning changes. Fires ruled accidental. Whistleblowers discredited, then silenced. Briarstone wasn't the beginning. It was a test run. The deeper Marcus dug, the more he realized how carefully he'd been underestimated. They saw him as a clerk, a former employee, collateral damage. They didn't see what pressure had done to him. They didn't see how fear had sharpened his memory. 3 nights later, Marcus received a call from a blocked number. No voice, just breathing, slow, controlled. Then a sentence, spoken clearly. "You should have taken the win." The line went dead. Marcus forwarded the call metadata to Lena. It bounced through private. Servers tied to a foundation Rourke once chaired. The same foundation that had funded fire safety inspections across the state. The irony wasn't lost on Marcus. The first attempt came quietly. Marcus's landlord informed him that his lease would not be renewed. The second was louder. A false report sent. Police to his apartment at 2 a.m., claiming a domestic disturbance. The third was personal. Someone sent him photos of the 2 residents who died in the fire. Photos never released to the public. That night, Marcus broke, not in tears, but in clarity. He stopped reacting and started planning. He knew one thing for certain: Rourke had always needed witnesses. People to sign off, people to look away. And those people were panicking. Marcus leaked a single document, an internal memo tying a current state official to suppressed fire reports. He didn't attach his name. He didn't need to. The response was immediate. Phones rang, lawyers scrambled, and for the first time since Rourke's conviction, the silence cracked. 2 days later, Marcus was followed. He noticed it in reflections, in footsteps that matched his pace. He didn't confront them. He let them believe he hadn't noticed. The meeting request arrived that evening, a neutral location, a private office downtown, to discuss closure, the email read. Marcus walked in wearing a wire. The man waiting wasn't powerful looking. No suit, no security, just a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He spoke calmly about protecting reputations, about moving forward. Then he said the line Marcus had been waiting for. Calvin didn't act alone. The confession wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It was enough. When Marcus left the building, he handed the recording to federal agents who had been quietly building their own case. Rourke's network wasn't just local, it was structural, and it was finally exposed. Arrests followed, indictments stacked, boards dissolved overnight. The same town that once shielded power now pretended. It had always demanded accountability. Marcus watched it all with a numb kind of satisfaction. Justice was happening, but not cleanly, not kindly. Weeks later, Marcus visited Rourke in prison. He didn't announce himself. He waited until Rourke noticed him through the glass. For the first time, Rourke looked small, older, tired. "You talked," Rourke said flatly. Marcus nodded. "You underestimated me." Rourke smiled faintly. "You think you won?" Marcus leaned closer. "No, I think you finally lost the ability to sleep peacefully." As Marcus stood to leave, Rourke spoke again, softer this time. "You lit a fire you can't put out." Marcus paused. "Good," he said. "Some things deserve to burn." That night, Marcus slept without the recorder beside him for the first time in months. Outside, the city sounded different, louder, honest. But somewhere beyond the noise, beyond the indictments and headlines, others were watching. Others who had learned from Rourke's mistakes. And as Marcus closed his eyes, unaware of a new file being opened with his name on it, one truth remained clear. Justice had been served, but the war for it had only just begun.